What's up, guys? For this week's class, we're going to be focusing primarily on the ankle and the hip. And to start off, all you're going to need is a triceps rope or a towel, or if you don't have either of those, you can use a wall for the first drill we're going to do. That's completely fine. And you also need a shoe or a yoga block or something to use for the hovers we'll be doing in a little bit. So the first thing we're going to do is going to be an ankle dorsiflexion pails rails. So I'll show you guys from the side for the first cycle we do. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the rope. We're going to actively pull ourselves into as much ankle dorsiflexion as possible. Now from there, I'm going to set up the rope and I'm going to try to push down. So my pails contraction is going to be me trying to push my foot down towards the floor. I'm giving equal resistance with the hands to make sure I'm not allowing the rope to move. So we're going to push together 25% as hard as we can. Now we're going to work that up to 50%, pushing the foot into the rope and pulling equally with the same resistance with the hands. Now we're going to work that to 75%. Now 100%, pushing the foot into the rope, pulling it back equally, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Freeze, rails contraction. Let go of the rope and try to pull the toes towards the shin. I'm trying to pull deeper into dorsiflexion now. I'm going to keep holding for another 8 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to relax there and hold the position for 5 breaths. And now before we do our second cycle, like I said, if you don't have a towel or a triceps rope, all you would do is you would use the wall to push into the wall and then you would try to pull off the wall. Now we're going to work through our second cycle of that. Same thing, pushing the foot into the rope 25%. Now pushing at 50%. 75%. Pushing as hard as we can into that rope. Make sure there's no pain. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails contraction. Try to pull the entire foot towards the shin. Keep trying to close the distance between the two. Hold for another 8 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back on and relax. Hold for 5 breaths and then we're going to switch legs. Now we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. I'll do it facing you just so you can see the positioning of the ankle, the knee, and the hip. So setting up the same way, I want to make sure my hip and my knee aren't collapsing in. It should kind of resemble a squat, obviously without the same degree of hip flexion. Now from here, I'm sitting nice and upright. I'm getting the other leg out of the way. I'm going to push into the rope 25%. Pushing everything together 50%. 75%. Hardest pain-free contraction, pushing the foot towards the rope, trying to push it towards the floor. Hold for another 8 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails contraction, let go and hold. Keep trying to pull those toes towards the shin the entire time. Make sure the knee doesn't collapse in. And you're going to keep holding for another 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the rope back on. We're going to take 2 more breaths and then we're going to go through another cycle of that. Now we're gonna do the same thing, pushing the foot into the rope 25%. Pushing down towards the floor 50%. 75%. The hardest contraction towards the floor, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails contraction, trying to pull the foot towards the shin. Keep trying to pull the front side up, close the distance between the two. Hold for another 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax and don't lose that position. 5 more breaths. And relax. So next we're going to go over figure 4 position, and it's going to help us basically improve our torso positioning upright, and it's also going to allow us to improve hip flexion as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my one leg up in front of me, making sure that I don't feel anything on the back part of my knee. If I do feel anything there, that's probably your sciatic nerve stretching, and I want you to bend the leg a little bit, okay? The second thing is going to be bringing that heel as close to the groin as you possibly can. So if you look for me from the top, it looks like a 4. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to keep myself as upright as possible. From here, my pales contractions would be me pushing the legs into the floor. My rails contractions would be me pulling myself further forward while trying to lift the foot off the floor. So again, pales pushing down, rails trying to pull up and close the distance between the two. So we're going to start by pushing the heels into the floor 25%. Now we're going to work that up to 50%. Make sure I stay nice and upright through the chest. 75%. Now my hardest contraction into the floor, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Freeze. Rails contraction. Trying to lift the foot off the floor while pulling my chest to the foot. Make sure I stay nice and upright through the torso. Pulling everything together for another 8 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax there. Don't lose your position. We're going to hold for 5 breaths. And like I said earlier, if you do feel this on the back of the knee as you go through it, bend the knee a little bit more. Take 2 more breaths. Now we're going to do the same thing, pushing the heel down to start. Pales contraction, 25%. Stay nice and upright through the torso. Now we're going to work that up to 50%. 75%, pushing the foot down into the floor. Our hardest contraction possible, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails contraction, pulling my body further forward while trying to lift the foot off the floor. Closing the distance between my chest and my foot. Hold for another 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't lose your position. Hold for 3 more breaths. And now we're going to transfer to the other side. So to do that, I'm going to transition into butterfly position and then go back into figure 4. So I'm going to do is I'm going to try to lift my foot, pull it into my groin, and then finish down into butterfly. Now I'm going to reverse it, lifting from the foot into the armpit again with the knee, bringing it out in front. I'm going to try to lift the left foot and pull it into my groin as much as I can. So now same thing, I'm in my position, make sure there's nothing on the back part of the knee. We're going to start with our Pales contraction again, pushing the heel into the floor 25%. Stay nice and tall through the chest. Now from here, I'm pushing down at 50%. 75% into the floor. My hardest contraction, pushing the heel into the floor, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails contraction, trying to pull myself further forward while trying to lift the foot off the floor. Hold for another 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax there. Hold for another 2 breaths. Now we're going to do the same thing, pushing that heel into the floor, starting off with the Pales, 25%. Now I'm pushing down at 50%. 75%, pushing into that floor. Working up to 100, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rails contraction, trying to lift the foot, pull myself further forward. Gonna keep holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax there. Holding for 2 more breaths. And relax. Now, staying in figure 4, we're going to take our shoe and we're going to work on some figure 4 hovers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my shoe, I'm going to put it on the outside part of my foot. I'm going to build up tension throughout my entire leg, pushing this foot hard into the floor as well. I'm going to lift and gently place it over the shoe. Now from there, I'm going to take the shoe again, put it back to the outside part of my ankle. I'm going to lift up again, building up my tension and slowly placing it down. We're going to do that one more time. Same thing. This will be the hardest out of all 3 of them. Build up your tension, lift, and gently put it over. Now from here, we're going to keep our position and we're just going to work through 3 slow end range rotations. So I'm fully internally and externally rotating that hip, going back and forth, nice and slow. Get as much range of motion possible in both directions. And one last one. Now from there, we're going to do the hovers back over onto the opposite side now. So again, pushing my foot hard into the floor, building up my tension, lifting up, trying to stay as tall as possible through the torso. Same thing, pushing down, squeeze my fists, lift, and hold. And we're going to do one last one, lifting up, gently putting it over. Now from here, we're going to switch sides the same way as we did before, lifting up, pulling it into my armpit, gently putting it down, lifting the foot, rotating into the armpit, putting it down. The shoe goes to the outside of the foot again. Stay nice and tall, lift, gently placing down. Same thing, lift, slowly placing it down. And one more like that, push the foot hard into the floor, lift, and relax there. We'll work through our rotations again, getting full internal and external rotation. We'll do one last one, then we're going to bring the foot back over. Now, same thing, pushing down into the floor, squeezing, gently putting the foot down. 2 more like that. Stay nice and tall. And then one last one. And relax. So now from figure 4, we're going to transfer into a 90-90 position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift from my foot, bring it into my armpit, rotate it around, try to stay nice and tall through the chest, and then gently put it down so it lands in 90. Now from here, I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite leg, trying to lift from the foot and then gently put it down in front. Now we're going to reverse that just to transfer back to the opposite side. So I'm going to pull it into my groin, putting it down. I'm going to lift from the foot and the knee, rotating into my armpit, and then putting it down. Now we're back in figure 4. From here now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the foot into my groin, rotate it around. Now I'm in butterfly position, and I'm going to lift the opposite foot and put it back into that opposite figure 4. Now we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to lift from the foot, pull it into my armpit, rotating it around, and then gently putting it down into my trail 90. Now from here, I'm going to lift from this foot again, and then put it into the opposite 90. And then relax. The last drill we're going to touch on today is going to be a knee flexion passive range hold, and we're going to do that in half kneeling position. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my back foot towards my butt as much as I possibly can using my hand. Now from this position, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push my left foot hard into the floor, and I'm slowly going to let go of my foot, trying to hold that position for 5 seconds. 3 more seconds, 2, 1. I'm going to put my hand back on and try to pull it a little bit closer to my butt. We're going to do that 2 more times. Now from here, same thing, slowly letting go, building tension throughout the entire body. Hold for another 3 seconds, 2, 1, hand back on. Take a full breath. We're going to do that one last time. Slowly letting go, trying to bring the heel towards the butt. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hand back on and relax. Now slowly lower it to the floor. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So again, set it up in that half kneeling position. Bring the heel towards the butt. If you need to, hold on to something as you go through it. Slowly letting go and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hand back on. Do that 2 more times. Pushing the right foot hard into the floor, slowly letting go, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hand back on. Last one, building up your tension throughout the entire body, slowly letting go, hold, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. Bring it down towards the floor. If you guys have any questions about any of these exercises or something that you want to work on specifically, please let us know, email us, get in touch with us through Facebook or Instagram. Thanks.